I've never done this before. I don't know why. I think because I was struggling a lot with trying to figure things out, and I don't want to mislead anybody in posting things that I'm learning in the doll world, okay? I have been using a HP laptop computer that I got like back in 2013, 2014, and I've done minor upgrades to the RAM to endure the huge song files that I end up recording, and it has really been extremely valuable asset in my endeavors to make music. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is, as I'm making this video, what I want to do, and what I wanted to do is share about the album art, but I also want to capture myself for the very first time with this third album, which I did not do with the other two. I wanted to capture myself putting in the album art, and I also wanted to burn 2 discs, and I want to print out some of the third album art, so I have something to sit around the house or the apartment that I can reflect in a positive way, knowing how badly, especially in 2010, I really, really wanted to do this. And can I tell you, if you were to hear the story of how this all came together, outside of things I talked about in this video, you would realize that I definitely was not ready for this. But I wanted to get from where I was to this, I wouldn't say quickly, but a lot faster than it happened. This is over 10 years later that I finally have the opportunity to hit download and get to listen to the songs I wrote in 2010. It's kind of unique because a lot of the connections that I had up until then are no longer, for many different reasons. And I had to, during my recording sessions, kind of work through that detachment and any kinds of pain that I might have, because it's not necessarily what I wanted, maybe it's not necessarily what anybody wanted, but it's things that occurred. And I would have to say that one of the things that's a shame that it occurred was how lost I was on just simply being able to get my needs met. And I don't want to talk about that right now. I want to stay focused on the album. So, I'm going to record myself putting in the clip art, the same album cover, on my wall. Okay? I am going to record myself putting them into my individual songs on my album. I currently use Studio One, and I already have it opened into the project file, and I use the Studio One 2.0. It is the very first doll that I ever purchased, and I just want to say that I purchased it in November of 2014, and I was having a heck of a time myself learning about how to use a doll. I was very much against recording on a computer, for starters. I didn't like computers. I was looking at getting rid of my computer indefinitely. I also have a problem with television sets, and I really did not want to even have a home with a TV in it. I wanted to live what I called and perceived as a real, genuine life. So when I was here, I had to face this. I have a TV, big screen, and I have my laptop computer, which is kind of like my best friend now. And it is the most useful tools. Appliances, what would it be? Not appliances, what would it be? I don't know. It's the most useful something in my life that I have, because it helps me to communicate with others, obviously from around the globe, but back in Pennsylvania or anywhere else. And it had to help me share my life story, and it gets me to share my music, my love for life. And also, I am continuously researching on how to do things or where to go. I do have a problem with that, so when I drive around and stuff, I still use a GPS. I've been out here for 10 years, and if I only go periodically, I'm always using my GPS. And if you were with, you would hear me complaining, because it seems that no matter what I do, I end up taking wrong turns. So it's kind of weird. I would credit that to the fact that I don't travel that much anymore. So I spend a lot of time in my apartment. And I'm always on the computer. Okay, if I'm not sleeping and resting in between, I'm on my computer. I'm working on my music, I'm working on video projects. Not so much photography anymore, which I'm hoping as I enter into my 50s, I'll be able to take more photographs of myself, because that's something else that I'm very passionate about. And as obsessed as some people might think that I am, a lot of it has to do with my joy of being me, my love for life, and shocking at what words God does to our brains when we submit to it. You know, I most certainly credit God for everything. All right. What I did is I already lined up my songs. There's 10 of them on this album. I already had the songs in order. I already put all the information in the card slots. I don't know what they're actually called, but the information per song is going to hopefully be on the track and be embedded in it. I set everything up. I got EQs on them. I did compression, all of that stuff. Today is not about mastering as much as it is sharing my third album, an album that I've wanted for a very, very long time. So what ended up happening is, within about less than a half a year, they released Studio 3.0. When they did that, it was that you had to purchase for an upgrade. And it upset me, because I didn't even want to be on a computer. I wanted to record my music with real people, with what I perceived as real quality equipment. I was very serious about this. Though I didn't really understand how to go about it or what to do, I knew I didn't have the money to invest in doing it that way, and I was really hoping to connect with others, and I've realized that it wouldn't have been good that way anyway. At the end of the day, this is what worked for me. And when they did that, with my history of computers and stuff, I was really upset. And maybe someday I'll share more details about that, but I never upgraded my studio DAW. I have been having some problems with the DAW, as in shared with videos that I have talked about with others who have been toying with my computer while I'm recording. I don't want to make this video about them at the present moment. I'm trying to stay upbeat for myself. So I never upgraded, and I figured as long as I can use this, I'm going to maximize my fullest potential at it. I was very disgusted for a very long time, as everybody else in Studio One world is moving on to 3 and 4 and now 5, and I'm still back on Studio One 2.0. So I am thinking about, if I get as far as recording a Miss Las Vegas album, which isn't going to be for a while, Studio One will probably be up to 6.0 or 7.0 by that time. And then, most likely, maybe, unless another doll comes out that I like, we'll upgrade that time. So, I'm here in Studio One 2.0, if you're curious to know, or maybe you do know and you want to know why I'm still on the antique. Is that what it is? The classic? Studio One Classic. That's pretty cool. I like that. Classy. Studio One Classy. You know. So check this out. I'm going to show you right now. These are my babies. And I'm just going to go over the songs really quick. I have I Know is on here. Tequila, which is a song I wrote back in my 20s. The Only Love That's True. I finally got that recorded. Southern Ohio Night. That is a song that was inspired to me by my NSAI group that I used to attend, and it was about the five senses. Okay, the topic was we were to write, our group was supposed to write a song, attempt to write a song based on our five senses. And I did the best I could with this, and it was really cool because I wrote it at Huber Heights, and I remember looking out the back window of our kitchen into the backyard, and the person I was living with then used to grill outside, and I love the smell of a grill, and I like when people do that. You know, I like cookouts. And so they used to do that, and that was during the time that that I wrote this, and some of that is included in the lyrics of the song a little bit, and I actually had like real visions, very clear visions that played over and over again. So this song really meant a lot to me. I did not think some of these songs were going to turn out as awesome as what they did. You might not think so, but I love these songs a lot, and I've been listening to them for as long as they've been recorded, but I would say I started, over 21 months ago. And I've been listening to them a lot, and I had a lot of touch-ups to do. I did the best I could. Okay, onward. I cannot wait to share you the difference of Just You and Me, because that song was recorded with an amazing producer quite a few years ago, and I don't like to use names too much, but I would say that I understood producers and awesome albums enough to know that to do what I really wanted to do inside, then I would have to find somebody like Mutt Lange to produce me. And with that being said, in my idea, to find or to connect with a producer like that would be next to impossible unless I was extremely well-to-do. I already knew that, but I also believed after working with this gentleman, Andy, I believed that there had to be other people like Andy that had that talent that I could meet. And this was part of my psychological breaking down process, which came to me recording of myself. And I have to say that there are many times in my own studio that I have shouted out in joy that I am the greatest producer ever. And if things would have happened differently in my life, for whatever reason, good or not so good, I would have never known how capable I was. So I'm not comparing as far as to what's better, what's not better. To me, my music's always going to be better because I've fallen that deeply in love with the entire process, God, myself, life, in my endeavors of doing it. And my hope is to get better and better and better, and the quality of the music become more sophisticated, clarity, etc., etc. Like, I'm really into the recording process now, despite the challenges I'm going through. And I do complain a lot when I record. I try not to, but it happens. It's kind of the fuel that helps me to continue to move forward. As weird as that might sound. So I'm looking forward to that, and maybe someday I'll get to share both versions of the songs that were recorded and explain why I feel so strong that I really am thankful that I had both recordings of this. Then I also wrote and recorded on my own, which was also written back in my 20s, and It was written for somebody very special. And then I did Heartbreaker, which was written up in Derby, New York, and Nebraska. And you know what? When I originally wanted to record Nebraska, I was thinking Nashville, okay? From all the country music I heard, I was thinking to myself, this has got to be what they call cut. Okay, they call it cut. Somebody has to record this in Nashville. Like, I'm thinking of myself as a songwriter, okay? That's what I was attempting to achieve, is to be a great songwriter and to have recording artists sing my songs, you know? To have my songs cut and be on the radio and video, etc., and touch lives. And I mean, I could go on and on and on and on. And with that being said, when I hear this recording and I started to do it, I knew right away this is not a Nashville recording. And I thought that psychologically, there was challenges of acknowledging that I missed what it was that I was hoping to achieve with this song. However, the more that I continued to keep recording it, the more in love I felt with it. And I won't mention any names right now, but the song, as it was being recorded, I started to realize that I really appreciated what I perceived as Saturday music a lot. Saturday music, to me, in short, was a break from all the other stuff that I listened throughout the week. You know, after school or in the morning before I'd go to school, I was really big into glam music as a child and teenager. And the people that I loved a lot, I really, really loved. But for whatever reason, when I went to like my dad's house with my stepbrother and stuff, I noticed that my stepmother would fill the home, not necessarily with that kind of music. It was different kinds of music that I usually did not listen to for whatever reason. And I called that Saturday music. And over the years of my life, I go back surfing through the radio or on YouTube or something, and I'll hear a song and I'll be like, I appreciate it much more today than I did back then. And I'm very thankful that there's a lot of music that I did not listen to on a regular basis, because today it's kind of like listening to new artists, you know? I might not know how to put it into words right now, but it's kind of like when I met Paul David Bach and I got to hear his music. So I'm excited that some of the music I didn't listen to before, I'm listening to now, is giving me a lot of joy and helping me get through on a day-to-day basis. And one of the recording artists that I'm not going to mention anything about right now was very inspirational in giving me a visual to help me get through the recording of Nebraska this way. And I was surprised. And I don't want to get too emotional right now. You never know what kind of people are. But if I could have, without offending anyone, I would have wanted to wrap my arms around him and give him a kiss on the cheek. Because it helped me to laugh. And I really, really got very emotional about this song. Really, really deep. Psychologically. You know, so it's pretty wild, the effect that when you're recording and stuff, you kind of maybe investigate a little bit of different music every once in a while, whether to give you a psychological break, or like if you're doing something in the studio, all of a sudden you have a flashback memory of a song or a music video. And I try very hard not to watch, copy, and paste, but I will watch it, and it gets my visual moving, and then the words of my music and the music that I have will start to manifest. And the only thing that I could say in that is very similar video of Nebraska appeared in my head, like this Saturday song that I used to listen to. I call Saturday music. And it's pretty cool. So, you know, the power of the mind. Music. Words. And, and ever since then, that person has been on my mind a lot sporadically. For all the people out there that record music and stuff, a lot of times what we realize is that we might be listening to things on the surface and it's just kind of in the environment that you're in. Sometimes it may take 20, 30 years, maybe even more, before all of a sudden something occurs and all of a sudden that song just becomes a very powerful tool to lift somebody's spirit and make them smile and laugh. And in this situation, that's what kind of like the recording artist of what I'm talking about had the effect on me. And I often think about doing things for a music video in this that are similar, but I don't like to copy people, but similar. And I can't help what ends up happening to my mind when I'm listening to my music and I start to see the music video already occurring, and it's kind of like a blend of stuff, you know? It kind of helps it along. It's kind of like somebody kind of gracefully helping you through the process. And I have to say that this song did not turn out like Nashville songs that I'm familiar with, but it really turned out amazing. I would definitely put it alongside Saturday, what I perceived as a child growing up as Saturday music. And I'm shocked because as a recording artist, I would have never thought that I would even consider recording music like that. So I didn't do it on purpose. It's what comes out in your struggle to do the best you can. I had a couple songs on this album that turned out like that. It's a shock to me because I'll listen to them and I would have never, before all the things that I've been through, I would have never purposely recorded some of the songs the way that they turned out. And it's weird because when you're recording, sometimes you're trying to get out what you originally intended, but it's kind of like the song manifests in its own life form, and you try to be gentle and gracefully submit to the process of what's happening. I like it a lot, and I'm looking forward to sharing it. I'm looking forward to making a video. To be honest with you, I wish that I could connect with others who would enjoy being in a video. But it probably won't be ready to do it for probably like another year or two, because I'm going to be working on my 4th album. I'm going to be moving, most likely, and but I definitely want to do things in the future with my music, and I hope that I could connect with at least 1 or 2 people, but a few people to do music videos. I just think it would be fun. I want to do it for fun, like really. And that's the biggest part. It's fun to see. I realize that not only recording the music, I love when you hit play and you have the video there too. I think it's exciting to watch, and I watch my music videos every day, almost every single day. When I exercise, I'll put them on and I'll watch my music videos, and it helps me get through the strenuous, mundane of being on a treadmill, you know. I like to do it because it's psychological mainly, but also I try to stay a little bit in shape. It's not so easy when I'm working on my music all the time, but I at least attempt to try to. Self-maintenance is important to me. So maintaining some kind of strength and cardiovascular, etc., etc. Also, here we go. Could have it all. And welcome to Miami. Could have it all. I wrote in 2010. That's the Diner song. And it was temporarily called Ragtop Cadillac. Ragtime Cadillac is still mentioned in the song, but I went back to the original title, Could Have It All, and then it's also nicknamed Ragtop. I don't know if I want to do that for the album. What do you think? The album and the song, or just the album? The Ragtop. And also, and that really turned out really good. I would love to make a couple different versions of that song at some point. And I don't know if I mentioned it before. I don't really want to talk about that now. But this definitely turned out a little bit different than I thought it was going to turn out. And I was nervous about it, but the more I listened to it, I think it aimed more towards, a lot of the songs aimed more towards what I was hoping to achieve in my music, in the recording process anyway. One of the newer songs that I wrote, which was in 2013, coincidentally, I was down in Miami, Florida, at a hotel with is it Miss Palm or Mrs. Palm, the tree? And I had mentioned before in my video, it looked like she was waving at me because a light breeze was going, and I was sitting kind of at my hotel sliding door, kind of like a small balcony. I think so. I'm almost positive it was a small balcony. There was like a sliding door, I think, but it might have just been a window. What do you think? And there was a palm tree there and a light breeze, and it looked like she was waving, and I called her Miss Palm. And I wrote a song called Welcome to Miami. And at that time, my heart was wrenched, meaning I was broken. The unique thing was, from what I remembered when I went to check in, is the Bengals were in town. And I don't know what they were doing there for sure. Do you think they were playing Miami Dolphins? But it was right at that time frame in 2013. So the Bengals in Miami, I think, were doing a game. You think so? Or do you think they were on vacation? And I just remember somebody saying that. And I thought that was really cool. But I was very depressed. So I had gone up to my room, and it was a nice breeze that was going through the tree. I talked to it for a little bit, and I wrote this song. And I went back because I used to like playing in the bathroom because of the acoustics of your guitar. And when you sing, it sounds kind of like you have reverb on a PA system. And I kind of finished it up there. And the song is kind of haunting because it's the details of the wording to me are very sophisticated. As a songwriter, I realized that a lot of that was channeling through me more and more. It was like, I would have to say, intellectually, it seemed like maturity was channeling through me more than was in the past when I was writing songs. And I really love this song a lot. And to have the opportunity to record it, it's like one of the 4 or 5 songs in the album that turned out almost identical to the way that I thought that it would sound, minus some of the bass, because I was kind of feeling fatigued with not knowing exactly what to do on some of the instrumentation, but I would have to say that I really love this song a lot. It's one of my favorite that I ever recorded. And I know it is going to someday, whether it's me or maybe a long time from now, that song is very special, and I hope someday that it gets the opportunity to be heard in a gorgeous atmosphere where other musicians and people involved in lighting and sound take it very seriously and have a nice presentation for the song. It's great. Okay, so here we go. Enough about the introduction of what songs are on it. Now we're going to capture putting in the album art. Okay? So if you're new to DAWs, maybe you're not, but maybe somebody just popped on that is, then I'm going to not show you all the details of how I got to this part of the downloading of the songs, but I will show you how I upload album art. Maybe I'm not doing it right, and you can leave a comment down below and maybe assist me in doing something better or different. Okay, here we go. So I'm not going to do every single one on video, but I am going to capture one of them for now, and then I'm going to get going. Over here on the left, as you can see, I don't know if this is showing up okay, you have all the song titles of the songs. In this little tab, when you open that up, it has a place where you can put in comment, songwriter, composer, arranger, the genre, I call it fem rock, and the year. Right now it's 2020, but in all honesty, I'm thinking of not releasing this until 2021. And with that being said, this is the one thing that I'm going to do with this album that I did not do with the other two albums. And that is, before I was trying to keep things moving along so that I could accomplish all the things that I needed to, plus I was going through a lot of other things that I needed to deal with. I am going to burn a disc, and I'm going to listen to it while I work on my fourth album. During that time, I'm going to evaluate it. I'm going to try not to be too critical on myself, but I'm going to have an evaluation season. And when I feel that it's ready, sometime maybe in spring of next year, I'm going to have a list of anything that I felt needed to be like an automation, for instance, or maybe some EQing, minor adjustments, nothing major. I am going to come back on here and give myself a day or so to make the adjustments, and then I'm going to officially download everything, and it will be what I perceive as finalized. Okay? So, chances are this will not be released until at least next year sometime. But it's the first step in actually giving myself the opportunity to listen to the songs. So you will not get to hear them for a while to come yet. But I would have to say, I don't mean to boast, oh sure I do. It is an awesome album. And there is a lot of great songs on here. Fun songs. Here we go. So once you open that up, we go searching for the album art. This is what I'm going to be using. You click on that too, and then boom, it's there. And the first song on the CD is I Know, and that is what I'm going to do for the next 9 of them. Okay. Now, all 10 songs have album art. That's a clip art. I think that's what they call that. That's what I'm calling it right now anyway. Have that in. And then also up here, if you can see it okay, this is the actual, I don't know where this goes, but it says the disc, and it's the name of the disc and the artist. And then there's one more that can go in here, and I'm going to put that in. Ta-da! All done. So now what we're going to do, what I got is a spindle of disc over here. We'll keep the first one off. And they're white. Excuse me. I call them full face labels. Okay. I got the full face labels. I didn't really like the ones with the bigger space in between the center and out. Try to cut as much coverage as possible. So here's the thing, check this out. What we're going to do is we're going to take it over here into the laptop, if we can find this. There you go. And then we're going to take the disc and place it in the CD burner. And then we're going to hope for the best in this burning process. My burner works so-so. You hear it? What do you think it's doing? It sounds like it's clicking. Click, 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 click. All right, and then what I'm going to attempt to do, it's been a while since I've done this, but we're going to come up here. There is the tabs up top, and we're going to click Burn. CD burning service not installed. All right, here's a little lesson. Whenever I'm working on my music projects, because I do a lot of tracks, I've noticed that I disable some of the features within the DAW, and it assists in A, opening it up a little bit faster, and B, in my endeavors of, like with latency, if you know what that is, latency challenges, and like drainage in a way. I call it drainage. It's like draining. The more the tracks that I have on, it seems like my computer will not, is having more of a challenging time to keep up at a normal, what would be a normal pace for itself if I was doing a lot less tracks. So anyway, that's what I do. I didn't know about yourself, but here we go. I want to make sure that this is saved, and then I'm going to show you what was going on with this. So if Tracilyn at least ever sees this, she remembers, oh, so that's what we do. Okay, here we go. So for starters, I want to make sure that I save that because I made those album changes. Over here, there we go. Over here, I would go into, up top of this tab, there is Studio One, and then I would go down here into Options, and then the Services. It says, I'll be careful, I promise. You want to be careful when you go in here, and a lot of it is, I guess, you just able and disable some of the features that are in here. Some of them are a necessity, and some of them might not necessarily be a necessity. So for whatever reason, I turn the CD burning feature off when I'm doing I turn everything off in here that I feel I'm not going to be using while I'm recording. So now that I'm getting ready to burn everything onto a disk, I want to enable it. When you do that, it'll ask, your changes will be applied next time you start Studio One. Do you want to restart Studio One now? You could hit no and not, and that's what I'm going to do. And then hit OK. And the reason is I want to make sure that this is yet saved. Now we can close it. And then when we restart it, it should be good to go. Now, if you wouldn't have hit the no and you would have hit yes, it would have just shut off Studio One, the DAW. It would have closed the file, and then it would have opened it back up immediately. Okay? I'm almost positive that's the way it would have happened. Now we're going to go up here and try this again. We're going to burn the CD. All right, so there you go. So what do you think? Is it better to have a slower speed? You know, I can go up to 24. I just keep it at 10. Is that good? Let's do it. And then use burn proof. And that's right. Anyway, I'm not 100% sure on how I used to do this, but a blank CD is found and you can start to burn. So you just, here we go. I hope this works. Hit the burn button. While that's doing it, do you hear it firing up? When I do, like I do very short runs, might be 10, 20 CDs. I will use my other laptop. It has a really good CD burner on it. That is very consistent since I had it all the way back from like 2000, early 2000s, like 2003, 4. Unfortunately, it does have Windows XP Professional in it, and I wanted more than anything to be able to upgrade a computer and be able to use it as like a secondary back in my bedroom. The living room is my bedroom, and I don't like to sleep in a small room like this. Okay, so I feel better. If I did, I would want at least the door open. but I feel better being out there, which is kind of the living room in most situations. Most people would use it as the living room. But I have my bedroom out there because there's a lot more space for me to be in, and I feel better that way. I spend a lot of time throughout my life in the bedroom, and you know, I'm okay with it. It's just that I like space. Okay, when I'm in here, I'm in the studio. My door is usually open. You know, and I have the fan. Like I have a fan circulating here. So check this out. I don't want to open it up right now. Maybe I'll show you another time. But I have a cooling fan under there. And what that does is my laptop, when I'm recording, gets extremely hot. Okay, the hard drive gets to be extremely hot. And so what I learned early on is I got this metal rack. Okay, I can't move it evidently. It keeps bouncing my keyboard out. I got this metal rack, and I put a turbo fan underneath it, and I'll turn that on like medium or high, depends on how many tracks are on and how it's running and feeling, and I try to cool down, or it does cool down my laptop, and it helps me to continue on with the recording process. And believe it or not, you know, I've been researching because I want to get studio monitors. I have a lot of ideas for studio monitors, and but for now, I've been using things that I've got like at Walmart with these Logitech speakers. I have like a little bass. What do they call that? A woofer? A bass woofer? Is that what it is? So I use that, and I use my little Logitech. I use my little Logitech speakers. They're kind of like mid-tone. I tried JBL monitors, a left and a right, when I first moved here. And for the size studio that I have, it was just a little bit too much, and I'm not fully adjusted. I like life speakers, lively. Okay, I can't really explain it, but the speakers are not. What I realized, my sensation of listening to like studio monitors, especially if you're going to be doing it all day long, is they're kind of like, well, people call them flat, but I call them DAW. They have a DAW sound to them. They're lifeless. I don't really know why people would want that, because when I'm recording and stuff, in order to have the passion and the energy, I need life in my sound. So I do have a couple different like headphones that I use, and the one pair is very flat, kind of like DAW, and you will pick up some things a little bit different with those, but I don't know. I couldn't when it comes to like mixing and stuff too, especially. I just couldn't get, like, some people might not like my mixes as they are, but I couldn't mix it in a manner that said when I would listen to it, like in my car or in any other speaker device, that I would be happy with it. So I ended up getting rid of those JBLs, and I stuck with this, and I was kind of saddened by it because I really wanted to have studio cabinets or speakers or whatever. And so I ended up sticking with what I'm with. I continued to keep looking. I was going to go to Guitar Center this past year, but then the whole mask thing came out, and I really have a serious problem with the legal system and the government telling us that we got to wear masks on our face. Okay, I don't know what they actually say. Do we have to? Or is it strongly urged and required? You know, I don't want to get on that subject now either, because that's not what this video is about. I just don't like a group of people telling me what I have to do. Okay. Especially, in my opinion, they're overstepping their bounds with that law. Disc 1, check it out. Dun, dun, dun. Here it is, and in the light. I don't know if you can see it or not. It kind of looks like it was burned, right? I hope so. We're going to do one more yet because I want to have one for the car and I want to have one in the apartment to look at. Some of that stuff will be edited out because, why? Because I don't want to be talking about that stuff right now. Okay, here we go. You listen? Now you want to click the burn, right? Do you remember which one? We come up here to the burn. Okay, and then it says 10 here. I don't know. Is it better to go faster, do you think? I do the slower one because, I don't know. What about you? Do you think, is the slower one better? It burns it deeper than if you go with the faster one? I don't know. So I go with the slower one in hopes that it'll burn it more, be more embedded. Is that the right word? Here we go. You're going to be with me on this. Grab hold of the mouse. Ding, ding, ding. There. My computer's like warm right now. So anyway, I'm going to shut this off. I think I'm going to get another battery. And when that's done, we still have a ways to go. I want to do a digital release for myself that I can listen to my MP3s, and I want to put all my MP3s on my computer. I want to take all my MP3s and put them on my MP3 player. And I finally got a new cell phone. And maybe I'll show you that. And I love the color. One thing is I kind of was complaining a lot about when I first got here is there's a lot of black things. You know, things, formations of things, technology is usually black. My cell phone, my smartphone, I didn't even want a smartphone, but I needed it because, especially, number one, living alone and traveling and stuff, and now being female. Not the same, really it's not. And I'm grateful for that. Emergency situations is why I wanted a cell phone. And, you know, in case car issues or myself. So emergency issues, and of course, so I could call people that I love every once in a while. I wasn't really much into the technology of it, and I realized the more that time went on that I would like to use my smartphone for different things. So guess what? Tracilyn is starting to appreciate technology a lot more. Unfortunately, along with falling in love with technology comes along with acknowledging that people are playing around with your devices. And anything you put on any one of your devices can be removed by some smart butt who wants to invade your privacy. Why do you think the government doesn't keep us safe from stuff like that? You know? Why do you think we're out here by the United States Air Force Base, right? Why don't they do something to protect me from being electrocuted? I'm looking forward to contacting the Air Force Base coming up. It'll be a little while yet. From my history of knowledge with the way that the electricity in my body affects me, I see that I have some time yet to talk to them, and I want to go high rank. They owe me a conversation. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm a very loving person, and I am totally shocked, literally shocked, that I would be approached in a manner that I was in 2012 when I started my musical endeavors, my project. And totally surprised that everything that I talked about with people in the music and the entertainment industry was revealing itself as being factually 100% concrete true. Here we go. We're going to get the last few seconds. Maybe I should have recorded all of it, do you think? Ta-da! And there you go, folks. That is it. So we have... We have a second one burned. I hope it plays in my car. We're going to have to try it out. Do you think we should try it out first? You want to go with me? Down to my car. And we can try this out. Okay? Before I print on it. I get to show you my CD labels coming up. Okay? So we'll set this here. and I'll take both of them down. But before we do that, okay, I want to make sure that this is preserved, meaning saved, and I want to do the digital release first before we go down there. Then we're going to move on to the next step of printing on the CDs, and I also want to print some of the CD album art. I'll get to show you that in a bit. And here we go. So we come up here on the top and we go to digital release, and you want to make sure that these tracks, these are called tracks, all of these song titles are selected because I want all of them. And then what I do, I'm only going to do MP3 file right now, and I always go for the higher KBS. I don't fully understand what all of this is, and I would like to maybe someday, but I go with the higher one, either 256 or 320. I just go with the 320. And this here, I find myself continuously researching to make sure, but I go with the 44.1 from all the things that I've studied and learned. I would also like to know a little bit more. I have a harder time understanding what this is in reference to, but I go with the 44.1. And then I want options. I want my track numbers. I want to have the artist's name on it, of course. And we're not going to do real-time processing. I'm assuming we could listen to the songs while I do this. I do not want to do that. Okay? And then it says, do not publish. We don't want to publish it anywhere. Okay? And I'm assuming that means that I could upload it to something like Nibit or SoundCloud. Okay? I don't want to do that. So here we go. We're going to hit the OK button. Do you want to do it for me? You got to say, OK! Oh, there we go. Where this is generating to, hold on a minute. Oh, I should have checked. I did not check. So, whoops. What this is going to do is it's generating an audio file, and this here tells you what number. Okay? So we're on song number 2 right now, which is Tequila, and that's 2 out of 10 of them. And this is how much time is elapsing overall, I'm assuming. And this one is actually, the song Tequila is done now. We're going into song number 3. Okay, so hopefully my spelling's right. I didn't really fully check that out, but I will make sure. I'm going to go over everything one more time next year, like in spring, after I evaluate this for a while. So I'm looking forward to eventually doing music videos for it, and I'm looking forward to sharing it. To be quite honest with you, it would be nice to know in many ways that I could actually do some really fun musical endeavors with the songs that I have recorded, but I still am going through a lot, and I would like to record more while I'm going through these things. And you know, a lot of people's perspective, and I listen to even like national recording artists, people who have toured and done a lot of different things. I listen to them speak, and I just want to suggest to you that when you're listening to other people, be mindful that they might not even know what they're saying, okay? If they ever really sit down and listen to themselves speak, do they really mean what comes out of their mouth? Because I'm realizing that there evidently is like a serious team force, like a military, and it's shrill evil and completely opposite of anything to do with life. And when you're speaking even alone to yourself, these people have the ability to pump your mind full of words, which would be lies, and kind of turn you into like a humanoid, to where pretty much they override your body for a duration period of time. With that being said, there's far more advanced technology and maybe life forms. And you might not believe this, but from my knowledge of everything that I've been through and witnessed, I'm convinced. very much so. And, you know, don't always believe even every single thing that comes out of your mouth. Take time to evaluate what it is that you speak of. And if you're not careful, you'll be deterred in doing your own endeavors, okay? Because they've reached a place in their life where they've come with the conclusion that it's not as beneficial maybe as it would have been years ago to do stuff, and that's baloney. You know, I thought similar things with other endeavors, and I would have to say that I have realized that if you love yourself and you love your maker and you love life and you love and embrace each day, a lot of that other stuff, it matters, but I'm convinced it doesn't matter as much. I don't want to go into the details of that right now. Here's what ends up happening. Check this out. Ta-da! There is the album in digital release. This was the first download. It looks like you got the whole list of the songs. You have the recording artist name, which is Tracilyn, and the titles of the songs. And I don't know what else is on here. They're pretty much the same. And the album title. You got all the album title. I'm going to test this right now. You're going to have the opportunity to hear one song. Okay, not the entirety of it. But we're going to get started on one song and see what happens when we open it up. Okay, I'm going to go for I Know. It's one of my favorite songs that I've written, and I wasn't expecting it to be as upbeat as it is, and I was surprised at the outcome of it. I would say that, especially having worked with another producer in the past, I would say that it has taken time for me to truly embrace and appreciate it. And a lot of it is because I kind of, in some of these songs, and recording them, I kind of get very nervous before I sit down to lay down the tracks. It's kind of like holding your breath, keeping your fingers crossed, you're hoping, you know, it's in the wheel of meditation. And am I going to be able to do this? Am I going to be able to pull it off in a manner that says I enjoy listening to it? You know, and you have flashbacks from your entirety of your life when you wrote the song. What were you actually thinking when you wrote the song? How would you like it recorded? Will you be able to honor that? So I'm like a nervous parent giving birth to a child that I want to be extremely healthy. Okay, that's how I feel sometimes. And here we go. So I use Winamp. Whenever you're using Studio One DAW, I don't know about you, but whenever I am using a DAW like this, I gotta go up here and I gotta turn off in the Studio One options. I gotta go into the audio setup and I gotta turn it off. So there's no audio device being used at the present moment, and hit OK. Now, when I go in to listen to something, okay, if I can find it, whoop, and you click on it, there it is. I used Winamp yet. I really liked Winamp. It's the first MP3 player that I used when I first got on a computer back in like 2000. I don't know why this doesn't look like it's scrolling too much, but it has the name and it has the title. And then if you go into the view file information, let's see if anything showed up there. Okay, so it did. It'll have my website, FemRock, the year. Right now it's 2020, but it'll probably change, you know, next year. I'll put 2021 down. You could have it all as the album, Tracilyn and I Know. I like to watch that. It's pretty cool, isn't it? I like to watch those with the lights off and lay on the floor or in the bedroom and watch them how they light up the room. When I first got onto a computer in 2000, I was fascinated with that. I thought that was really cool. I don't even know what they're called. I forget. It's kind of like not a screensaver, but what is it? Do you know? Visualization. And I don't know why it's not showing. But anyway, it would show the entire album art. And I don't know why it's not showing it right now. So that is the first song on the newest CD, and I'm looking forward to sharing it with you next year. Okay, I'm going to be starting on my 4th album coming up next month, and I'm a little nervous about it because it means that I'm going to have to tend to it most of next year. Hello, I am back. Alright, so here we go. We're going to close this out for now, and hopefully I will remember to put everything away. I hope I didn't change anything. If you want to save your changes in Ragtop, I would say yes. Okay, so here we go. I will check all of that out. The next step, I wanted to show you, I want to actually show you the album art, okay? Here, this is the photograph that I've been using when I was mixing down a lot of my demos, or not demos, I was mixing down the song file to get ready to master it. That's one of my favorite pictures. I took it back in 2012-ish, 2013. It was during the I Know video that I was making, and I wanted to I took a lot of photographs, and it was one of my favorite videos at that time because I never did music videos before. And I thought it turned out superior compared to what I thought I was able to do. I never did something like that, and to see the results of it, I was very satisfied. And I was not then as I became. I'm satisfied today. Back then, I was more hurt because I wanted a full recording like I just did the song now. And I wanted to do things different, okay? But I realize now that I'm very grateful that I took time to do it. If you feel that you're doing something right now and you don't have the technology that you would like to have, quality, or maybe you don't feel that you're there in your personal idea of talent, maybe you're going through a lot of other psychological struggles, I would like to encourage you that as you proceed to go forth in your endeavors, that if you're patient and you don't give up and you continue on, that maybe in time you will be able to reflect back and realize how awesome it is that you stuck with it and that you pressed forward with it, if you want to say forward. You pressed on, you continued on despite your circumstances. I look back at that time and that's one of my favorite videos and always will be because I understand where I was at then and a lot of new information that is beneficial when I look back on there. Fulfillment is occurring. So I'm becoming more fulfilled. And I'm more grateful, especially with myself, that I never gave up. There's a lot of times that I didn't even know why I was doing it, outside of it's something I really, really want to do. Today, I'd go back and I'd give myself a big hug and a big kiss and thank myself for doing it because it's very entertaining to me, very encouraging and inspirational. I inspire myself a lot. And I wish there would be more people, that's how you know what I think when I see myself and I listen to my music. I wish there would be more people like me, but I'm glad that I exist. And sometimes I wish I could be two of me so that I could meet myself and talk to myself and tell myself how much I love myself and my music. So I'm doing it now. Yeah, sometimes I see myself in my videos kind of like a little kid approaching me in the video or like at a concert and spilling out my heart about how much my music has touched my life and how much I love myself and how much I want to be more like you. In other words, it's like God's in my brain and mentoring the way that I guess would be a healthier perspective of myself. The effect that what I've done in video and in recordings has on me today. The story is long. I used to admire a lot of others, and today I would have to say that I admire more of the result of what I see through myself, more than anyone else. And I understand that it also came through admiration of others throughout my life. I see myself as a great blessing, and it would be nice to be my emotional support in continuing on and never stopping at what it is that I do. You know, it's not only about music. In my opinion, it's the reflection of the heart that is genuine, that is radiating from a human being, that is probably one of the more beneficial for breathing life into another. So what other people may not see, and maybe God doesn't give them eyes to see, and that's good, what other people don't see, I definitely see, and I see more of it. It's magnifying inside my brain, and I really, really appreciate how it makes me feel. And that comes from somebody who years ago didn't even like to look at themselves and did look at others and wished that they were somebody else instead of who they were. In a way, I believe that that may be mentorship inside of our brain, because the self that was not truly surrendering to what it wanted to do. So it's not that it wanted to be maybe someone entirely that it's seen, meaning I didn't want to be somebody else. What it is that you really wanted to do is you wanted to surrender to the truth inside of you and be more genuine instead of how you were formed, put together in your day-to-day life because of the environment you're around in or your knowledge. There's too much being withheld, I should say. When I see myself, I definitely do feel a lot more free, you know, in a good way. And I like that in myself. I think I'd like to see more of that in others, period. A friendly spirit, you know. Okay, here we go. Check this out. That's with the I Know video. And as I go on, I keep trying to go back here to look, because I like to look over here, but the camera's over here, and I'm sorry if my eyes are always like this. Okay? So, I like to look at myself when I'm talking, but then my eyes go over this way, or that way, one or the other. So when I'm looking at this, then evidently it looks like I'm looking at the TV screen and looking at you. Alright, so here we go. We're going to probably have to switch this over. We got like 4 more minutes yet, so I'm going to switch it over now, and I'll be back, and I'm going to get to show you the actual album art, the label for the CDs. And before we print them, I want to go down to the car and we can quick listen to them in the car. I'll show you my process of what I do to check a CD. Okay, here we go.